It's your man back again at top of the NRG Stadium, Adolphus A.D. Moore, and our man on the road, Elwin Henderson, to give him a mirror as he's hightailing it down Highway 59. Slow down, man. You know, you get back to Gilbert.
I'm going 30 miles an hour in traffic.
Okay, hey, before let's go ahead and get to it. Hey, your Houston Texans pull out a good one today, and I think this hopefully this is the character builder that can propel this team on to be more consistent in what they've been. I mean, we saw this against Atlanta. I saw it last week personally against Carolina. They, Carolina took the ball last 6 minutes and some seconds and got a victory out of it. However, today the Texans, 75 yards, got the ball with 46 seconds left, and C.J. Stroud found his man, Tank Dell, back in the end zone. And folks, I'm gonna tell you something. This game, I don't know. You name your favorite author, and I don't think they could have written a better script than what happened today. I mean, because let's face it, it had the good, the ridiculous, the sublime, everything that you could think of in a great novel, and that's what this happened today at NRG as the Texans. Because first half, they basically, I'm not going to say they totally sucked because they were in the ball game, but they were a disjointed member. Elvin, quick points from you, and then we're going to have a talk from, let Mr. Ross talk to us, and then we'll go ahead and really dig into this thing today.
Well, I agree with everything you said, AD. They didn't play a good first half. They looked discombobulated. But then, man, whatever they did and whatever D'Amico said at halftime, that was a different team that came out. And the biggest thing to me, I felt like that's the best Houston Texans game I've ever witnessed. Yeah, it wasn't a playoff game. Yeah, it wasn't a do-or-die situation as far as the whole season was concerned, but they could ill afford almost halfway through the season to go 3-5. They pull off that miracle, and I said when they got the ball, I said, well, they're going to have something similar to the parting of the Red Sea Part 2 to pull this out. And I don't think any of us in that press box thought they would do it, but the team obviously felt like they would. And, of course, the even bigger thing, C.J. Stroud broke the rookie passing record for a game, 470 yards. Just an amazing job by that young man.
30 of 42, 470 yards, 5 touchdown passes. And the thing, and here's a stat that every one of his starting receivers caught a touchdown today. But I tell you what, before we start digging into that, let's hear a word from Ken Ross and the Ken Ross Agency.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
That's right, folks. The Ken Ross Agency, 281-235-5952. Give him a call. And if he doesn't answer right away, leave him a message. Tell him AD told you to give him a call, and get a chance to hear his personal invite. Give him a call. Call him if you think I'm playing. Give him a call and see if I'm not playing. Elwin, let's just jump into this game, man, because we already sort of alluded to it. First half was not. I mean, it was nothing to write home about. I mean, this team. No. I wasn't sure which way this team was going, man. At the halftime, 17-10 at halftime. Now that's within the area of you can get a victory out of this, but not the way that the Texans were playing at that point in time.
No.
They were a pile of just discombobulated mess, and and a lot of folks saying, well, it was 17-10. No, it was not. This was not your typical 17-10. They were sort of all over the place.
No.
They were really all over the place. They were sort of like a helter skelter. I mean, and CJ alluded to it in this presser, than the fact that D'Amico challenged him, and I'm not sure exactly how he challenged him, but I'm pretty sure some paint could have came off the wall in there, because the Atlanta ball game, the Carolina ball game comes to mind when they had a chance to fold their tents and tuck their heads. But I think hopefully this will be part of the building blocks that they can point back to and say this was the game that sort of turned us around and moved on. But here's the unique thing about it. They lost a field goal kicker in the first half. They didn't have a kicker. And so when they started scoring, they scored a couple of touchdowns. They had to go for 2.2. Had to go for 2, and they failed on a couple of subsequent scoring drive. And I sort of tweeted out that really all that the Forest Tampa Bay had to do was keep kicking field goals, and they could sort of ride this thing out. However, the defense stood up and got the ball, and actually turned Tampa Bay over, and allowed that the Houston Texans to get it, stay within striking distance, because at the rate that they were going, you scored a touchdown, but they wasn't getting the PAT. They had scored 2 subsequent touchdowns, failed on the PATs, and then they finally scored a touchdown, and then they were successful on the PAT. But then within a matter of under 2 minutes, about 2 minutes and some seconds, at the end of the game, I mean, let's face it, the doors got blown off in NRG for the last 2 minutes, Elwin.
Mm-hmm. They did. They really did. Tremendous focus by the Texans.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let the coach talk about this, because, Darryl Ogula, and I'm gonna butcher his name. I'm gonna look at it again. The running back was the replacement kicker. Darryl Ogula was the one that actually kicked the field goal, 29-yard field goal that made it possible for the Texans to win in the end. And the court, so. But let's let D'Amico talk about what this young man was able to do. In fact, as he said, he was the difference in the game, as far as they were concerned today.
He made the decision about letting Omoguale kick the field goal.
With Dare stepping in, he did a really nice job for us, right? You lose your kicker, right? That's tough, right? What are you gonna do? Your whole game plan, right, changes. But Dare, he stepped up big time for us, for him to be able to kick off as many times as he did, right? Create some touchbacks, but also for him, right, to kick the field goal. We were confident that he can make it from there, and he proved us right. So credit to Dare. He's truly, right, the player of the game. For him stepping up the way he did for us, it's outstanding by him.
Elwin, he's absolutely right. I mean, if Dar hadn't stepped in there, it's no telling how. I don't think if Dar hadn't been able to step in there, and the kickoffs was very evident, because he was putting the ball in the end zone. Now, obviously, this young man had played. This young man had played soccer in his young life, and these young guys still. But you know what? This is for those kids out there that that want to specialize in one thing. Folks, teach your kids how to kick, how to be a punter. Teach your kids how to be able to not only while they're kicking that soccer ball, and there's nothing wrong. And like I said, it's the world's game. It's the world's game. It's football to the rest of the world. And they would differentiate between their football and our football. They'll tell you in a moment. The world's game is football and not American football. They will make it. They would discern discernment. They would define it and tell you exactly what's what. But by virtue of this young man being able to kick and was being very successful. And the thing about it, and he mentioned this in his presser, he was surrounded, had the game ball, and they asked him and said, he said, I played soccer earlier, and so and one of the questions I posed to him Okay, who was talking to you? Was it just Frank Ross, the special team coach? How was that going? In fact, I'll let him answer that for us.
Between you and Frank, did you and D'Amico ever come word or two on the sideline?
No, I think it was more Coach and Coach Myers and Frank, and then Frank related to me.
I mean, hey, Elwin, I mean, this kid played with ice water, and I mean, there you go.
Oh yeah,
This kid
absolutely.
Played, you know, absolutely. And the thing about it, the stage wasn't too big for him.
No. Now that having been said, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your point.
I was going to say, that having been said, we got to go somewhere and find a kicker before next week.
Well, obviously, I guarantee you, Nick won't go. Nick won't leave the stadium tonight. Nick was on the phone once Fairbury, because he had a strain.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I guarantee you, tomorrow there will be a minimum 5 kickers will probably be in here tomorrow. I can guarantee you that.
Yep, probably so.
Between Monday and Tuesday, I guarantee at least be 5 kickers. I'm trying to remember the young man's name that was in here before at the beginning of the year when Fairbury, was struggling. I think he had an injured quad then, and more likely he might be the odds-on choice to come back in here. But I would willing, and I'm not going to step out. I don't have to step out on a long limb to say this. I honestly think that he will come back. I wish I could remember his name right now. I don't.
Me too.
But it escapes me. But I think that he will be back. I think definitely he'll be back in. And also, I think it's going to be several others. It's going to be more than one person coming back in here. Because, see, this is the second time that Fairbury has been gone out with leg problems. So I think you might just see somebody going to have to leave the practice squad. I think they just going to keep it for the remainder of the season. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Texans keep a kicker on the practice squad for the rest of the year. I for some reason, because we both see what the effect of the third rail of a successful football team, offense, defense, and special teams. We get to see exactly what happens when you have an effective kicking game, because last week, man, Cameron Johnson actually flipped the field against the Carolina Panthers, man, with a 74-yard punt. So we witnessed what a kicking game can do, a part of your special team can do. So in a real sense, that's important. I don't care. A lot of folks might just go poo-poo offense, defense. No, you need all three. You have to have all three, and if you plan on going a long way in this league, you have to be effective from all three standpoints. How your point, your thought process? I mean, because you sat through the presser with me. What was sort of your thought processes standing there listening to D'Amico and the whole thing?
Well, I think the big thing that he was talking about was turning the corner, getting the confidence to win. And there's no doubt, AD, if they had not had that miracle comeback today and dropped their second game in a row, having to go to face Joe Burrow in Cincinnati next week, I don't think there's any way in this world we would have thought they had a chance. But now they built up the confidence. They see that against extremely high odds that are almost impossible odds, that they pulled out a victory today. That makes them know, as long as they're within one score, if they get the ball back near the end of the game, they got the potential to go out there and do it and win the game. I'm not going to go out so as to say I think the Texans will go to Cincinnati and win next week. But I think with the confidence they got this week, seeing what they can do when they stay focused, I do think they might have a legitimate chance to go up there, and if they can get a break or two, that they could pull off the upset next week.
Well, I concur, but here's the thing. as this team matures, and I've had, you know, different players, man. JG, Jonathan Gennard, we're talking about the team maturing. Jerry Hughes have talked about in the past how the team learning how to win. I mean, it's more to it. I mean, and most of these kids that come from
Yep.
successful programs on this level, it's a total different. I mean, because
Oh yeah.
it's a difference between and it's a minute small difference between winning and losing, and we saw that today.
Oh yeah.
We saw what happens when you don't have the third rail as far as the kicking component of your game when you lose your field goal kicker, because I'm alluding back to the point I tweeted out, because I felt like that all Tampa Bay had to do was just keep kicking field goals the rest of the way, because
Yeah.
the Texans, even though they could score, that PAT could wind up being an insurmountable mountain that they couldn't overcome.
Yep.
Well, for the most part, they didn't. But Dar came in and actually kicked the field goal to sort of cut. They had lost 4. They went for two on a couple of touchdown drives, didn't get it. So that's a -4 that they didn't make. But Dar been able to come in, kick the 29-yard field goal, so it becomes now a -1. And so far as I was concerned, and then what we found out at the end of the game, it was a difference 39-37. Texans, 39-37. Texans win by 2. I mean,
Yep.
it was a razor thin game, man. But the thing about it, the guys on Fannin Street actually come out the winner today. I'm gonna let CJ. We're gonna go to a break, but I'm gonna let when we come back, we're gonna let CJ go through that final drive, because I know you were there. But let's let the fans hear CJ and go through the final drive as we get one more break from Mr. Ross.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
That's right, 281-235-5952. The Ken Ross Agency can handle each and every one of your insurance needs. Give them a call, again, 281-235-5952. With any and everyone, you got an insurance question, you got any kind of insurance question related, home, property, you name it. The Ken Ross Agency can handle and answer each and every one of your concerns. Elvin, what was interesting, and I'm going back to this deal, that 29-yard field goal was in the third quarter. It was, in the third quarter at the time mark about 8:45. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the unique thing about it, Noah Brown had caught a pass, 75-yard pass from C.J. Stroud, and then Schultz had caught a 9-yard pass. But at both times of those, the PAT had failed. So, in essence, what had happened, again, that's where I talk about that -4 and everything, the +3 and the -4, put us within the striking distance by Dar being able to hit that 29-yard field goal at 8:45. That what brought the game within 30 to 33. Okay, I mean 33-30. And then that's when, and all of a sudden, the Baker Mayfield at 46 seconds left, he hit Arden with a 14-yard pass. And so the stage is now set, okay? The stage is set. And it's time for the young man that everybody, was the second draft pick. It's time for him to set the stage. And I tell you what, I'm gonna let him just run it down, put it in perspective, and then we'll come back and we'll follow up on it, because prior to going to this, he had this again. What did he say? He was 32 of 42, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. He had 3 receivers today, all of them over 100 yards. Tank Dell, 114 yards. He was 6 receptions, targeted 11 times. 2 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, he was targeted 11 times, 10 receptions, 126 yards. He had 1 touchdown. And Noah Brown, he was targeted 6 times. He caught everyone, and he had 157 yards. So let's face it, and last week, CJ was talking about the impact plays, the explosion plays. Well, I tell you what, that was a plethora of explosion plays today as far as the Texans are concerned. But we're gonna let CJ go ahead and run us through that last series, every play.
Pastor was talking about like worship when you're away. So basically worship like when things aren't the greatest, and that's the true testament to faith. And for me, that's what I rely on. I couldn't be up here, I couldn't do anything on that field without my Lord and Savior, man. And He gave me a piece of, like a sense of peace, even when everything around me is going crazy. So just got to say that and give y'all a little nugget of the word. So, but now from the first play, we ran out there, man. I had complete confidence. I knew that we needed a touchdown. We had 2 timeouts, which was huge. And really, when you start a 2-minute situation, which we only have 46 seconds, you just want to get started. So Dawn did a great job of being greedy and taking a lot of yardage and on that little shallow route, and we started it and called timeout. The next one, I think I checked it down maybe to him again, and we ran bounds, called a timeout again. And then Noah, I kind of gave him a little nugget because we were going a little deeper, and I wanted him just to get the ball and just get yak. And so I told him, hey, go short a little bit on this, and he did a great job and great body language. Threw it to Noah. Next play, run the out route to Tank. Great catch. I honestly don't even know where I'll put it because I got hit and I just looked up and everybody was cheering, so I completed it. The next play, we just had to put that in on the sideline, so Bobby did a great job of just feeling the tempo of the game and feeling what we probably needed, and had a play we ain't worked on since training camp. And literally, I know the Tank's route was nasty. I didn't get to watch it, I just threw it. I just had to take care of the safety. They're in quarters. Once the safety buys the inside route, I throw the outside route, and his job is to beat the corner, and the Texans win. So that drive, man, it was special, and that's something in this league I'm learning, man. You got to be great 2-minute. And for me, I just want the ball. Just give me the ball, call the play, and I'm gonna go make the play. So I'm happy with the win.
Sorry, are you saying that last play didn't?
Yeah. The question. And this was a follow-up question. That scoring drive play, Elvin, they hadn't worked on that since training camp.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
And the thing about it, Bobby improvised. Bobby Slowick did an improvisation on the sideline on that particular play for that last play, and
that's crazy. Sounds like Sandlot football, doesn't it?
Yeah, sound like you go down to the mailbox, you go to the trash can, and you come back over to Miss Jones' flower bed and hide behind the flower bed and jump up behind the flower bed, and I'm gonna hit you. Yeah, it's crazy. As crazy as that sound, man, that's what. And you know what? Folks try to make this game difficult. They try to, they use these nice hyperbole. It's still a game.
Yes.
Now, let me go ahead and get my little pet peeve out. Then, and my good friend Gary Slaughter, who I played with, my freshman year in college, who is the NFL official supervisor. But I'm not sure what grade he's going to give these officials today. But that was a personal foul, and that leads me to this point. And then I'm gonna throw it back to you. Texans had, I think, 4 personal fouls today. They had, I think, 10 plus penalties. They had over almost 120 yards worth of penalties today. And at least 4 of those were personal fouls. Now, one of them was on a play that I thought that I personally thought that the quarterback was down. I'm not sure what Baker. I thought Baker and he was hit. And when you went back and looked at the replay, he was tackled on his ankle and went down. He literally went down and got up and then kept running. And then all of a sudden, here's a personal foul thrown on the Texans. And I'm going like, that play should have been dead 5 yards back. And they actually went to replay. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell were the guys in New York looking at? Because I didn't understand that one, Elvin. I didn't for the life of me, man. But anyway,
me neither.
But and I know you but on your way of wrapping it up. Final thoughts on you, man, as we get ready to close this puppy out, man. Again, the Houston Texans took the ball with 46 seconds left, went 75 yards, 15-yard pass to C.J. Stroud to Tank Dell, and the Texans come out ahead 39-37. And what was so unique about it, on the PAT, the Texans just took a knee. The Texans literally took a lead. Closing comments from you, Elvin, as you get ready, and I know as the sun has already set on you and you got your inside light on before the highway patrolman run up on you. Closing comments from you, man, where you can get on down the road.
Well, if the highway patrolman runs up on me, we'll just put him on the podcast too.
Yeah, good.
To me, like I said, it showed a maturity of this team that we knew was there. We knew it was going to come out at some point this season, but it was just awesome. There's no other word to describe it. Awesome to see them put it all together. I think it does catapult them on up now to another level, and hopefully it will be a high enough level that they can go up to Cincinnati and pull off the upset next week. But, again, I've brought this up before, and just like you, AD, being a man of faith, I've never seen any NFL player that was a Christian talk about God as much as CJ does. And personally, I have to believe that's one of the biggest reasons he's got the success he's got. I definitely believe, yes, God gave him that talent. I believe the fact that he is giving God all the credit for his talent and the success he's had. I think God's probably using that as, if you will, a showcase to others about what their lives can become. And I'm not wanting to sit here and become a preacher. My dad was a Baptist preacher, but at the same time,
I'm glad you
I think
said
that's
that,
a real positive thing.
I'm glad you said that because I was getting ready to go back. Wait a minute. You are a preacher's son, correct?
Yes.
But go ahead and continue. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say, you've seen the same transcripts from the Texans that we get where CJ has said that, yes, God gave me talent. I'm a talented athlete. I love to play this game. But the main thing I want to do here is spread the gospel. And basically, C.J. Stroud is almost acting like a pastor himself with what he's saying and the way he is handling himself. And I don't honestly believe I've ever seen another rookie that was the full package any more than what C.J. Stroud is.
Yeah, let me tell you, I've often stated you can preach me a sermon or you can show me a sermon.
Absolutely.
And I think the eye, the sermon is in the eye of the beholder and what you've seen, because the thing about it with this young man, and obviously he alluded to it today in his press about the situation he's praying for his father, and
right.
He alluded to it. Yes, father is incarcerated, and he's hoping that he got a chance to speak with his father this weekend, and the impact of being, I think that had a big impact. I think that has a big impact on this young man in his life. The fact that he got a chance to actually talk to his dad this weekend, and because that, let's face it, when you're incarcerated, you're incarcerated. He didn't try. He alluded. He didn't try to just downplay the fact. He said, "Yeah, my dad's incarcerated." He said, but he gave a couple of other things. He said it's the judicial system can be tough, and that there's a lot of inequities in there. But the thing about he's not saying that, but he's saying he didn't just try to push you down and say, he's in there, for whatever for some bogus reason. But the thing about it, he did stated that, hey, we need to go check our judicial system. I think any and every
Yes,
one of us know that. I mean, let's face it. There's a record there, and I'm not going to sit up here and I'm going to say I'm going to be bashing law enforcement, because I hate to live in a society that we did not have a series of laws that we had to be governed.
absolutely.
They had to be governed by. So in a real sense, this young man, hey, like I say, he's walking his faith, he's living his faith. I mean,
Yep.
is he perfect? No. Am I perfect?
No,
Oh, heck no. I mean, you perfect? No, none of
me
us
neither.
are. None of us. I know,
No.
but at least that he's gotten the chance to live out and live out his creed and do what he thinks is best. So, but anyway, final comments, man, and I'm gonna turn you loose, man, and let you get on down the road.
Well, just like you, AD, and I'm sure all of the Texans fans, excited to see this team get back to 500 again, just like they did 2 weeks ago, and hoping and praying that they'll go up to Cincinnati next week and pull off that upset.
Yeah, my good friend, I tell you what, man, you be careful down the road there, man. I'm
Will
gonna go
do.
ahead and go ahead and put you off and let you cut the light out. Then you can go ahead and drop the hammer on that car and get on back down to get on back home. Hey,
Okay.
man, be safe, take care of yourself, and we'll be talking to you. Okay,
You bet, brother. Have a great week.
you too. That's right, folks. As we get ready to wrap it up here, again, I'm top of the NRG Stadium. It's dark outside. Daylight saving time is over. So I'm still getting up, going to work in the dark. I get up and go to work with the sun home. But by the time 5:30 rolls around, it's dark out here. And so anyway, folks out there, you got to adjust yourselves and everything. Be careful out there. Be kind to one another. Remember, voting is November the 7th. This coming Tuesday is election day. Not telling you who to vote for. I'm not that arrogant to say who to vote for. All I'm asking you to do is to go and exercise your right to your ballot, to cast your ballot, to have your say in this in democratic society. I know that it's not perfect, but I tell you what, I've had a chance to be able to live in some other places full time, and I still rather come home here and deal with this. It's not the perfect, but I tell you what, I'll prefer this over some other places. But anyway, as we wrap it up again, your Houston Texans defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this afternoon in NRG Stadium, 39-37. Texans with 46 seconds on the clock drove the length of the field, 75 yards. CJ Stroud led the way. He's 30 again. And just restate his 32 of 40, 470 yards, 30 of 42, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he set the rookie record for a quarterback and as far as yardage and everything. So hats off to the young man. But as like D'Amico Ryan said this afternoon, Dar Ogunbowale gets the real game ball, because after Kaimi Fairbairn went down with a leg injury, he had to step up and start kicking and kick off and actually hit a 29-yard field goal that I thought was very pivotal in the Texans being able to win today. So without further ado, this is your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, signing off from NRG Stadium. Folks, hopefully, Lord willing, I will be communicating with you from Cincinnati as the Texans will take on the Bengals next week. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Ciao. Hey, have a good week, and I'll be talking at you from Cincinnati next week. Ciao. I'm out.